If you're a Cubs fan, you can tell me what this is, then you're a fan of the best team in the league. All right, we got a lot to get to, so let's get down to it. Let's break down a sweep of the Colorado Rockies and dive into all the latest Cubs news. It wasn't pretty. Wind blowing out off the lake all series, 50-degree temperatures, but the Cubs found a way not only win the series, but to sweep one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball history. The Cubs completed their second official sweep of the season. I'm not including that two-game set against the Dodgers. Two-game sweeps do not count. They only scored 9 runs over the series. They did just enough to win each game. Let's start with game 1 on Monday. The Cubs won 3-1. Quality win, even if they didn't beat that god-awful team over their head. The big story for the night, Jameson Taillon. He improved to 4-3 on the season. He pitched 6 1/3 innings, allowed 4 hits and 1 earned run. He was perfect through the first 14 batters before Mickey Moniak hit a solo home run in the 5th inning. Taillon struck out 7 and impressively walked nobody. The Cubs pitching coach, Tommy Hotovy, is doing a great job getting his starting staff to throw strikes right now. Since the beginning of the Sox series on May 16th, the Cubs pitchers have given up 29 free passes in 12 games. That's 2.5 walks per game for my math challenge gangsters out there. Taillon's ERA right now is 3.86 on the season. The Cubs got on the board in the first inning when Ian Happ scored on Dansby Swanson's ground out. After Moniak tied it in the 5th with that home run I just mentioned, Kyle Tucker singled in Matt Shaw to give the Cubs the lead back. Tucker also added a sacrifice fly in the 7th. Tucker has been on a hot streak lately after busting out of that slump he was in for about 2 weeks. He's slashing right now, 379, 424, and 586 with an OPS of 1.010 in his last 7 games. When he's on, the offense is OP. Opposing pitchers can't do shit with it. Defensively, the Cubs made some key plays. In the 6th inning, with runners on 2nd and 3rd, Nico Horner threw out Jacob Stallings at the home plate, and Taillon then struck out Michael Talaga to end the threat. Matt Shaw continues to impress at 3rd base. He's looking more and more like the future at the hot corner for the Cubs. Since being called up, he's slashing 360, 385, and 560 with an OPS of 945. He's also been cleaning the field, making eye-catching backhanded plays down at 3rd base. Daniel Palencia nailed down the save with a perfect 9th inning, including 2 strikeouts. He's been great in this role with Porter Hodge on the IL, which got some people wondering if the Cubs have found their closer in Palencia. Moving on to game 2 on Tuesday, an extra inning thriller that saw the Cubs win 4-3 in the 11th inning. Let me start off by saying happy birthday to Pat Hughes. He started his career in 1996, and I started watching the Cubs in 97. Most of the times during those early me getting into baseball was spent with my late uncle and my late granddad listening to Pat's call on the radio, whether that was in my uncle's backyard while grilling or my granddad's backyard while grilling. I miss them both dearly, and I'm glad they put me onto the Cubs. Happy birthday, Pat. Cade Horton had a good outing. He pitched 6 innings and allowed 2 earned runs for his with six strikeouts. He pitched into the 7th inning for the first time in his career. While some might be questioning pushing him that far, they need to continue lengthening his outings because he seems like he's going to be in the big leagues for a while, right? And could be a part of the rotation to stay, especially with Imanaga still recovering. You don't want to Dusty Baker him, but at some point you got to take the training wheels off. You know what I mean? The offense wasn't great, and the wind was blowing in, made hitting home runs tough. The Cubs did manage to steal 6 bases, with second time they've done that this season. 4 of those 6 stolen bases that runners ended up scoring. The Cubs had the bases loaded with 1 out in the third, but can only score twice. Once being Suzuki's 50th RBI of the season, and PCA drove in Happ right after that to give him his 49th RBI of the season. You really wish they could have taken advantage of that inning a little bit more, especially with the wind blowing in. Then we possibly wouldn't have to have taken this game to extras to win, or put 5 innings on the bullpen. But it is what it is. Here we are. The Cubs fell behind 3-2 in the 11th inning, but the ghost runner, Pete Crow Armstrong, stole third and then scored on a Michael Busch check swing that he muscled into the left field to tie the game at 3. Then Matt Shaw, emphasis on the W, walked it off with a flare to the right field that scored John Birdie, who was in the pitch run for Michael Busch. Shaw had a 2-hit night and looks like a completely different player since his return from AAA. It was a quality win, getting the Cubs to 13 games over 500. This team is finding different ways to win, which is a great sign. It's something you want to see from a team that's actually good. You have to win the close games and grind through when the offense isn't doing enough. Shaw with his first career walk-off and the Cubs' third walk-off of the season and their 5th straight series win. Before the game, Seiya Suzuki was named NL Player of the Week. He had a great week, Hall of Fame week, outstanding week. For the week, he hit .480 with 1.552 OPS, 3 home runs, and 10 RBIs. This is the second time a Cub has won this award this season. Kyle Tucker, if you remember, he won it early April. I believe it was April 7th. Suzuki's having a career year. He's leading the NL with 50 RBIs after Tuesday's game. He's on pace to surpass his previous career highs in home runs and RBIs. Finally, Game 3 on Wednesday. 2-1 win to complete the sweep for the Cubs. Getting the bats going was tough for both teams in the cold weather. Matthew Boyd had a crucial bounce-back start after a rough outing in Cincinnati. He pitched 6 innings, allowing no earned runs on 4 hits and 8 strikeouts. He had a pickoff error that led to an unearned run, but he got out the inning pretty unscathed. Boyd has been tremendous this year. Everything the Cubs would have hoped for and would be and need him to be right now, considering with all the injuries to the staff. Pause. The only concern is his innings and the injury history, so keep an eye out. PC hit his 15th home run of the season, a 379-foot solo shot, showing his ability to hit low pitches. Listen, I've said it before that he swings at damn near everything, and I love the peak Javi vibes that he brings. But if you think about those 2 statements, El Mago used to swing at everything too, until the league figured that out and threw him nothing but outside stuff, and he couldn't adjust like aggressiveness at the plate. Hopefully PCA doesn't become a victim of bad plate discipline as well. Matt Shaw continued his strong performance, collecting 2 more hits and still in the base. He's slashing .355, .412, .516 with a 928 OPS since his return. The Cubs finished the sweep and earned a much-needed day off on Thursday before hosting the Reds on Friday opening series at Wrigley. On the injury front, there's some not so good news. Miguel Amaya is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with an oblique strain. Oblique injuries have been a frustrating trend for the Cubs this season, but manager Craig Counsell hopes that Miguel will be back before All-Star break. With Amaya out, Reese McGuire is going to continue to rotate with Carson Kelly. If Reese can continue doing the things that he did in that Red series and not get caught carjacking, if you know, you know, then the Cubs should be okay until Miguel can come back. Porter Hodge had a setback with his own oblique injury and isn't making any progress. The minimum stint on the IL may not be reasonable if he doesn't improve sometime soon. Hodge had been our go-to high-leverage pitcher for the Cubs, and an extended amount of time without him could be even more disastrous than what the extended absence of Imanaga is proving to the team. Javier Assad, he's making progress after re-injuring his oblique injury and played catch for the first time since his setback on Memorial Day. Finally, Shada Imanaga, he's progressing as well and is scheduled to throw a bullpen session soon. The pitching staff has been pieced together due to injuries. Ben Brown has struggled as a starter. His ERA is 6.39 right now. The bullpen has been solid, thankfully. overall, but they've blown 8 saves so far this season. So you can't continue to tax them too much. The Cubs will likely be in a market for a starter and high leverage reliever at the trade deadline. Despite the injuries, the Cubs have one of the best records in baseball. They're tied for the major league lead in amount of series won with 13. And they definitely have the best offense. They've survived having one of the hardest schedules to start the year while losing key pitchers. As we have crossed the Memorial Day holiday checkpoint, the unofficial 1/3 point of the season, you can now start checking the standings and now breathe a sigh of relief and believe it. Notice the landscape without the caveat of it being early in the season. Typically in baseball, if you're leading your division at this point of the season, you will more than likely make the playoffs. It's not something. It's not common, right? Somebody will fall off from first in the division at Memorial Day and then not make the playoffs, especially with there being so many playoff spots available nowadays. The Cubs are 35-21 through 56 games, second best start through 56 games for a Cubs team in a very long time. I think Marquis has said since 1901. The 2016 team started 40-16, and you know how that season ended. So, like I said, we've crossed that Memorial Day threshold, so it's okay to start believing that this team is actually good and can actually do some real things. It's no longer early. The trends are there. The Cubs take a 3-game lead in the division into a weekend series with the Cincinnati Reds. Let's go ahead and win that and keep the good times rolling. Go Cubs. Thanks for listening to this latest edition from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Whether you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And all my homies from Chicago, we say 3 things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.